Thank you all so much for attending the Public Facilities Art and Culture meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 4th, and actually the 55th anniversary of Dr. King's assassination. So can we just have a moment of silence? Thank you very much. I know we've got an agenda that could be lengthy in time, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it. I've been a Methodist all my life, so I guess I'll just continue with it being in order. That's what we do. Have things in order. That's the methodology of it.
I appreciate that, but just brief point of order. I see Ms. Harrison is here from Greenways, and so while I understand moving in order as it pertains to the larger resolution that's before us, I guess my request would be before we, get to that very, very long list of amendments, perhaps we might.
Move up number 5.
Yeah, move number 5 to the front, to Ms. Harrison's.
I second that.
That's very kind of you. I will ask Ms. Harris, is that something that she would like?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your acknowledging that and moving on at Councilmember Henderson. So we'll go to BL 2023-1784, which is O'Connor, Roden, Withers, and others. Approves a participation agreement in temporary construction easement between the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation and 1000 2nd Avenue North, LP, for improvements within a portion of the Greenway. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, so thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, Ms. Harrison.
Thank you.
So we shall proceed with number 1, RS 2023-2044, as amended. Withers, Roden, Hurd, and others creates a Nashville Needs Impact Fund to help provide resources to nonprofit entities serving Nashville and Davidson County and designating certain amounts there too.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. I have the amendment from Councilmember Evans.
I'll move the amendment.
Okay, thank you. It's been properly moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, do we want to get an explanation about the amendment from
I think that would be proper.
Yes,
the
please.
administration?
Thank you, Chair. The Nashville Needs Impact Fund covers a lot of potential funding options, including affordable housing. During the discussion in December of the 1% increase to the current 6% hotel occupancy tax, questions raised, I think, primarily by Councilmember Evans about potential impact on the homeless population that occasionally finds themselves relying on hotels and motels. This would make clear that amount, whatever it may be, and we prepared a memo for the council last month estimating the amount, could be a funded element of this Needs Impact Fund.
Okay. Any other questions in regards to the
No,
amendment?
but I would like just to clarify, as I did in Budget and Finance, with the amount of work that's been done on this particular resolution, that this amendment is friendly to all the other things that are on it, and doesn't rob from Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. So it has my support.
Okay. And I know that it did pass in Budget and Finance as well as Transportation. So we'll take the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, about the bill, we want to approve the bill as amended.
Go for it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Our next bill is BL 2022-1630 as amended, Swope, Syracuse Hall, and others. Now, I know that Councilmember Swope isn't here, and we do have the substitute bill that comes after it. Do we have to move on the 1630?
I think you wanted to move forward with this.
My recommendation is let's skip those, go to 4, and give time for those members, if they're already in another committee, that gives them time to get in here.
Well, I would rather go ahead and knock these out of the way, because I don't think that they're gonna take that much time. and we can just debate the rest of the meeting to make sure we get that done.
I think someone's looking for
Mr. O'Connell?
Swope, or council member Swope.
There he is.
So you can swope in.
Oh, okay.
He just-
Right on time.
Okay, thank you very much. We on BL 2022-1630 as amended, Swope, Syracuse, Hall, and others. Amends Title II of the Metropolitan Code to create the Nashville Film and Television Advisory Board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded. Discussion, Councilmember Swope.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the same bill that it has been for the last, I've lost track of how many months. It is very focused, it's very deliberate in its intent, and I don't think anything else suffices to serve the film and television industry other than a very focused and concise plan, which is exactly what 1630 is. 1631 has now become the absolute opposite of 1630. So there is a clear division here and clear choice to make. And I would ask your support.
Okay, Councilmember Henderson.
Can I ask the administration's position on this? I thought we had negotiated a compromise wherein there was a larger commission and this board was under that umbrella. Why are we still here?
On 1630, the original sponsors were Councilmember Swope, Councilmember Syracuse. On 1631, primary sponsor was Councilmember Stiles. Councilmember Syracuse and Councilmember Stiles continued negotiations and have come to an agreement on a second substitute, which the administration is supportive of. It encompasses all and includes film and television as one of the primary committees thereof. So it will entail everything. I love my friend Councilmember Swope. His would simply address one component of the entertainment realm and leave the others unaddressed. And that, for other reasons, we're supportive of 1631 second substitute.
Okay.
Okay, Councilmember.
Yes, I'd like to hear from Metro Arts as to their opinion on this particular situation.
Well, I don't know that I can speak on Metro Arts, but as working with Metro Arts,
Can you state your name? and who
I'm
you
Jonathan Satt, I'm
represent?
Grants Manager with Metro Arts Commission, thank you. So I know the commission had voted within the commission a month or two ago to be asked to be considered as a home for both entertainment, music within the commission and film within the commission as an overarching organization. The Arts Commission already has support staff in place. It already has, when it's not just about creating a director's position, but it's also about finance and all the other pieces and parts, communications, all the other things that create an agency. So when you talk about creating an agency, I know the commission sees that this is just what should have been a normal progression of the growth of the agency. And for it not to be on the table, it seems been a little strange, but we stepped back when somebody from the mayor's office asked us to step back, and that's where we are now.
So just to be clear, if I may, your commission or your director has taken an official position on 1630 or 1631?
Not if, they officially had a vote within the commission to ask to be considered, and then they were told to step back.
To ask what be
To be
considered?
considered as a home for both of these, for film and for music and entertainment. The Arts Commission already supports a large percentage of the organizations and groups that we're talking about serving, so it already has their hands in these things.
So there's been, as I understand it, there's been no official move by the commission to support
endorse one or the
either
other.
one, but they're willing to participate in whatever happens.
There's currently a cultural plan in place right now with the Metro Arts Commission, just as there's also a study of venues. I know even within the venue study, I think there's also a need for the venues for performance spaces for even theater. That's just as much of a deficiency as there is for music venues. So I think it's a broader issue that probably is not on the table that should be.
Okay.
Thank-
If I may I just ask a follow-up question to my initial question to Mr. Jameson, because I wanted to ask I appreciate the question to Arts, but I think what I'm just trying to get to at this juncture, because I know this has been somewhat contentious and there's a lot of discussion, but what I heard, and just to clarify, is that the administration supports 1631, but not 1630.
The second substitute to 1631.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna, yeah, well, I guess we have an approval.
Right,
motion.
because we're on
Yep.
1630 right now.
Yep, yes,
So I think we should go ahead and take a vote. Councilmember,
Oh, I was just gonna say, we have gotten a lot of emails about, this issue on both of the bills. One of them that I read this week, I found particularly persuasive. I don't remember the full name. I think this gentleman's last name was Van Roon.
Yeah, Andy.
And I do think maybe going the route of entertainment and pulling all that together, it might be just, we've been using a lot of idiomatic expressions in prior committees today, so I'll say biting off more than we can chew. I think you have, I'm gonna support this. I'm kind of flip-flopping on how I've been prior, but I've had an awakening maybe that maybe film and television, that just let this advisory board go and do what it needs to do. Because entertainment is such a broad thing, and I think what film and television and their needs are and what they're doing is so significantly different than live music and entertainment and even recorded music. So I'm going to be supporting this and not the other, which is a flip of how I've been in the past. But as I've read more of those emails, I feel like from professionals that are true professionals that have really been in this for a while, and not necessarily just production assistants that have sent emails, that this is the route we should take. So thank you, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
I have a
Dick.
question.
I want to go ahead and take the vote.
Well, I have a question for legal. Again, I just need to know procedurally, if we vote, if I may.
Point of order? That's a
Point of
prevailing.
order. If we pass both 1630 and 1631, what happens?
Who is behind me that I'm
If
blocking?
there's a majority vote on both, what happens?
Well, this committee will take a recommendation to the floor, and are you asking if on the floor you vote that way?
On the floor.
I think that there are enough provisions of 1630 that overlap with 1631, that 1631 passed later in time would supersede 1630.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. It has been fully discussed, so I want to take a vote now. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand, please. All, and those
Mark
against?
me as a yes.
You're a yes. Those opposing? Okay, thank you.
What was the
Now,
final?
that takes us to
3-2.
3-2, Chair, was
Yes.
the final vote?
substitute Bill 2022-1631, Styles, Welch, Toombs, and others. Amends Title II of the Metropolitan Code to create the Nashville Entertainment Commission. We have a substitute by Councilmember Syracuse and Styles. Can I get a motion?
Move the first substitute.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded.
Move the second substitute.
Thank you very much. It's been properly moved and seconded. Councilmember Styles, would you give us some?
I'd be happy to, Chair. Thank you. I appreciate the discussion regarding the previous bill, but the fact of the matter is we've been discussing this bill since last year, and who you've heard from have not been production assistants. You've heard from Academy Award nominees for sound design, for directors, gaffers. Everyone has been participating in this conversation. We do need an overarching commission, because what we've done in the past is create many silos that don't work well together, and then there is friction when people feel like people are stepping on each other's toes. Some of the things that were said in many of the meetings that we've had over the last year were that one commission helps everyone rise. We have focused on one industry primarily in this city, and it's been great to us. Music has been fantastic, but film, television, as well as digital, and metaverse, all of these things are now coming to Nashville. And so there does need to be one overarching body where people get to discuss these issues. In this substitute, we still have the three main pillars, which are music, film, and diversity. The television becomes the Advisory Film and Television Board, named after Councilmember Swopes. The Music City Music Council is there. Councilmember Syracuse has been very passionate about that, and diversity has been what I've been passionate about as well. As this is my background, and in speaking to peers of what they want in this city, people want one commission. If we create something different than that, we're creating additional drama for the future down the road. This substitute allows for additional councils to be created in additional creative industries. So we have three pillars, but additional ones are able to be made. It outlines the entertainment industry and the occupations that people can hold in order to be on it, as well as renames it the Nashville Music, Film, and Television Commission. And I think the fact that Councilmember Syracuse and I have been able to come together and realize from film, music, and everything in between, we have found something that people are good with. And I think we need to listen to stakeholders and not get wrapped up in, personal agendas. So I would ask that you all would vote yes.
Thank you so very much. Any other discussion? All in favor of the substitute, raise your hand, please. Those opposed? Thank you very much. Now we have Bill
Do we
2020.
vote on the substitute as substitute?
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta vote on the substitute as substitute.
Substitute is substitute.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. BL 2023-1741, Withers, Roden, Hurd, and others. Authorizes the Metropolitan Government's execution delivery of an intergovernmental project agreement with the Sports Authority relating to the development and funding of a new enclosed stadium designated a geographic area within which 50% of state and local option sales taxes will be allocated to fund capital projects at the stadium or any on-site or off-site infrastructure necessary for the operation thereof. Approving the issuance of one or more series of public facility revenue bonds by the Sports Authority to finance a portion of the costs related to the construction of the enclosed stadium. Authorizing the use and pledge of certain of the Metropolitan Government's revenues as security for the bonds, authorizing the acquisition of the stadium campus from the Sports Authority and the lease of the new stadium site to the Sports Authority, authorizing the Metropolitan Government's execution and delivery of a site coordination agreement relating to the interaction between the operations of the stadium and the development within certain areas around the stadium, and authorizing the defeasance of a portion of the Metropolitan Government's general obligation bonds issued to fund the acquisition of the campus on which the stadium is located. Now, we have heard these amendments just in this past meeting
Motion
with.
the bill.
Okay, there's a motion. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you very much. It's been properly moved and seconded. We've had discussions regarding this bill in our just last transportation meeting, and we had a very spirited discussion last evening with Budget and Finance. What I would propose to do is that we would ask the sponsor to present each amendment, and we just vote on the amendment as it comes up, because we've already heard the discussions on each amendment. Is that fair?
Aye, Captain.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilmember Mendez.
Number one is with Councilmember Withers.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Withers.
I'd like to move Amendment 1. It's a housekeeping amendment.
Thank you.
I'll move Amendment 1 since he's not on the committee.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There being none, thank you very much. Amendment 2.
Amendment,
Move the amendment.
and that's Councilmember
Member Taylor.
Taylor's.
It's been properly moved. Is there a second? No second on it, so what would be the,
No recommendation.
there's no recommendation? Thank you.
And then,
I know I have the best vice chair in all of Metro Nashville, Davidson County. Amendment 3, Councilmember Mendez.
Move the amendment.
Thank you.
on these, if you wanna just have the vice chair move them, and then when you get to the ones that I'm not pursuing, I'll let you know, and then he can just move them and y'all can vote, cause you guys have, I mean, I guess I'll give the one sentence version of all of them.
Okay.
I'll just
I
vote
mean,
which
we
ones you
want
do.
to be respectful of you.
Yeah.
And if it is in your, will to give a short version, we definitely would appreciate and accept that.
I think just for the, it could be 20 years from now that people are looking at the video, and the fact that you already mentioned the budget and finance conversation that people can watch in the transportation meeting, I think I'll just keep it to a sentence, and if somebody wants to know more, they can, so.
So I'll move amendment 3.
And that one, that would make it so, if the state changed the appointment makeup of the Sports Authority before bonds would be issued, we would not issue the bonds.
Yeah, we've heard the explanation, and
We
we've
need a
also.
second.
Second.
So it's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And then I'm skipping 4 and 5.
So move amendment 6.
Second.
Are you withdrawing 4 and 5 or?
Yeah.
You don't withdraw amendments, you just don't move them.
Okay.
So I do not intend to move 4 and 5 on the floor this evening.
Okay. So 6 and 6, amendment
Yeah.
6,
Yeah,
it's been
we-
properly moved and seconded.
On number 6, that would make it so the Sports Authority couldn't put any liens or encumbrances on the stadium assets except as set forth in the agreement that we're approving now without further council approval.
So it's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move amendment 7.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Mendez.
I just gotta give me a little time, I'm trying to keep up here. There's so many.
This one would amend the development agreement in 2 places to make certain changes require council approval.
Thank you. So it's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Move amendment 8.
Is there a second?
Second.
This one relates to gambling. It would make it so the documents would be amended, so any gambling uses that are made legal in the future by the state of Tennessee would require council approval first.
Chair.
Yes.
If I may, I did ask some questions oddly about this in the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, but I do feel that they're more applicable to public facilities and so forth, and I didn't know if I could ask an additional clarifying question to Ms. Darby.
You may.
Thank you. Ms. Darby, so in the last committee, I think probably majority of colleagues would agree around the matter of casinos and that type of gambling particularly, but raffles and, kids kicking footballs for charity was implicated. And so I think in that regard, then people are like, oh, wait, that's good. So we don't wanna, but I don't know if you could speak to, you answered very concisely, I appreciate, but you thought that those kind of things were implicated by this amendment, and I just wonder if you could flesh that out a little bit more, please.
I think my answer to the question was that the amendment does not carve out those types of activities, and so therefore it would affect those types of activities. But you lumped in 2 different types of activities
Right,
there.
yeah.
So there's the charitable raffles. I think there was an explanation that, what those are, the 50/50, one time a year type thing. Those would, I think those probably are, they're not explicitly carved out. The other activity was the kicking a football for a prize or something. That conceivably is not a game of chance, and so therefore would be permitted to
Okay,
go forward regardless of,
so it's only the raffles that you think might be
I think they might get
potentially-
caught up in there.
Okay. Chair, if I may, then a follow-up question, could I put that to Mr. Mendez as to the language of the amendment and as written and contemplated? Like, what is your position on whether or not that's implicated? And if it is, if that should be a concern, because it seems like the lobbyists for the team, all due respect, 50/50 raffles, otherwise once a year, whatever, have the pull to do whatever they need to do up on the Hill to make those charitable raffles work out for the team, so.
Yeah, I'm not opposed, thanks for the question. I'm not opposed to that at all. You know, I offered comments 2.5 weeks ago, didn't hear back by the time the deadline to submit amendments, so I had to submit amendments. So I'm not opposed to that use, but I understand second readings, the last time we can amend this absent a suspension of rules. I would think it would be easy to, if there was consensus around language, to suspend rules on third reading, or adopt this amendment now and suspend the rules to tweak it in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I think all those-
Councilmember Bradford, you had a question?
Yes, and my question, kind of, you started touching that. I was thinking, like, the possibility, I know a lot of colleagues hate it when we do this, but amending your amendment on the floor to carve out charitable or nonprofit raffles or whatnot, but it kind of sounds like you're kind of leaning that way about maybe amending the amendment later to do that.
I don't want to speak for the $5,000 an hour worth of lawyers working for the team in the city, but I'm not sure they're gonna love doing that orally on the floor, but who knows?
Okay,
You
thank
could ask Mr. Cross how he feels about that, but
I'm no better qualified to speak to the opinion of those $5,000 an hour lawyers.
I mean $5,000 cumulatively. That's probably low ball enough.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
I'm gonna vote for it here. I did not vote for it in the last committee, but I have enough interest in part of it. I mean, I'm concerned, but, I
So
do
you
wanna
vote
show some
in
interest
favor?
in the
Yes.
amendment, so I
Any-
will vote in favor.
Any other in favor? So,
I'm
You
going
know,
to abstain.
okay. Those against? Thank you. Want to move this now?
Move amendment 9.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Councilmember
The
Mendes.
one sentence version of this is beef up the team guarantee.
Any questions? It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Amendment 10.
Move amendment 10.
Second?
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any,
This one is supported by the administration and would clarify that a particular term in the lease, quote, change circumstances, unquote, that if the state reduces any of the dedicated tax revenue in the future, it won't constitute, quote, change circumstances, and won't constitute a default under the lease, and the administration supports it.
any other questions, comments, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Skipped.
Amendment 11.
I'm skipping 11, 12, and 13, won't move those later.
Okay.
So move amendment 14.
Second.
This one would make it so that if the state changed the makeup of who appoints the sports authority, rent would change to market rate.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Amendment 15.
Move amendment 15.
Second.
This one goes hand in hand with number 14. However you voted on 14, you should vote on this one.
Just for that, I'm gonna abstain.
A reasonable person would vote the same.
What are you trying to say?
Okay, well, we're gonna officially take the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that a yes from you?
No.
And
I was
those in
pointing
opposition? Thank you. Amendment 16.
Move amendment 16.
Second.
This one, in several places in the lease agreement would make it so changes required council approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Sensing a pattern here.
Thank you. Amendment 17.
Move amendment 17.
Second.
This one would make the Metropolitan government an intended third-party beneficiary of the funding agreement with the state, and the administration supports this one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And I'm not going to move 18 or 19 later today. I appreciate y'all's attention to this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
Thank you
hard
for your
work.
work.
Thanks.
Thank you, and there is a late amendment that was submitted by me, and it's basically in, line with what Councilmember Mendez had, submitted as an amendment to make sure that we had some more meat in the, contracting of minority participation, and also in alignment with what Councilmember Allen spoke about in terms of being along the same language as the updated disparity study. And all of this is aligned with our equal business opportunity legislation that we did a couple of years ago, asking that there's going to be some reporting from the Titans if they do not meet a 25% participation goal. And for them to let us know what they plan to do in order to not only meet but exceed that 25%. So I'm asking for movement of the amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you all very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There being none, thank you very much, and that concludes our.
You need to vote on the.
Oh, we gotta vote on the bill itself, I'm sorry.
Good catch, Zach.
All right, so now that we've got all of these amendments out of the way, and we want to vote on the bill itself. All in favor? As amended, I'm sorry. 4 in favor, and those in opposition. Thank you so much. That concludes our meeting.
Good job.